Morning, everybody. Welcome to our practice facility, and please welcome Gordon Hayward back to us here. And good to see a nice, familiar face. We're going to pass the microphone around for questions from you folks, and Gordon will answer them and go from there. Thank you.
Gordon, good to see you again.
Yeah.
Just first, right off the bat, just tell us how you're feeling right now, and just where you are in terms of your spirits after obviously a very trying situation that you're going through now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to talk in front of you guys and to get out of the house a little bit. Definitely a little more mobile than I was a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So, on the road to recovery, and excited to attack that.
Gordon, I'm sure there's times when you've played and you've been in the air and you kind of knew that maybe this is going to be, I got to correct myself so I fall correctly.
Yeah.
Did you know when you were in the air that this is probably not going to be the best landing scenario that I'm going to have?
Yeah, I could feel it when I was up in the air. There's definitely like a half second when you realize that you're going to land a little awkwardly, and you like you said, you try to, they try to teach you how to fall. And you kind of learn to do that over the years to fall the right way. But for whatever reason, my leg was it was caught underneath me, and there was not much that I could do. So.
They've said that they want to put you around your teammates as much as possible. Just how important is that contact with the guys going to be for you over the next couple of months?
Yeah. So I think more and more through the rehab process, I'll be with the guys. I haven't had a chance to be with them too much recently. I think yesterday was one of the first times that I saw them and got a chance to be around them for a little bit. It's going to be really important, I think, for me and my mental health to stay involved, to still be a part of the team, and as much as as much as I can't be out there on the court with them, I can be with them in the locker room, and I can see different things, watching the film that maybe they can't see out on the court, and I can try to help them. And like I said, that will help me as well. So. Shooting out of a chair is a little bit different than shooting standing up. I feel pretty short. But just to be out on the court and have the basketball and, have Scott, our assistant, rebounding for me, and like that was an incredible feeling, just to kind of start that process. And just because for so long, like for 2 weeks or whatever, I was just in a bed with my foot up for the longest time, and those hours seem like they last forever because you're just sitting there and you're bored and you can't do much. So just to be out on the court, do whatever I can with the basketball, that's what I love to do, and so that was fun. Looking forward to continuing to do that.
Gordon, have you seen the video of the play where you got hurt, and if not, will you ever see it?
Yeah, I have seen the play. It was kind of hard not to see it with the social media that we have today. I mean, the first thing that I saw was the picture of it, and I have a lasting image in my mind to begin with of rolling over and looking at it. It was just an unfortunate play.
Gordon, excuse me. What were your emotions like when you went down, and then seeing all the support from Barack Obama and the fans, Kobe Bryant? How encouraging is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously just devastated. Felt like I put in so much work to get ready for this season. Made a pretty tough decision to come here to Boston to play, and one that I still definitely don't regret by any means. But definitely wanted it to go differently for my first game as a Celtic, and so just devastated, I guess, that I wouldn't be able to contribute, that I wouldn't be able to have the season I wanted to have. And then, after that kind of settles, just overwhelmed with the amount of support that was shown from all kinds of athletes across all kinds of sports. I think it shows the brotherhood that professional athletes have, just I guess athletes in general, and then other celebrities too that reached out, like you said, former Mr. President, and just couldn't believe that people were watching and that they cared enough to send a tweet. I'm sure they have better things. At the end of the day, it's just a basketball injury, and there's people that are going through way worse. So for them to reach out was pretty cool.
Gordon, you had mentioned this a second ago that other athletes have reached out to you. Have you heard from athletes who've gone through significant injuries, and if so, what's some of the advice that they've given you as far as not the physical recovery, but just the mental part of getting over this and eventually getting back on the floor?
Yeah. Paul George was a guy who texted me right when it happened, and Paul and I have had a good relationship since we were drafted in the same class. And I was there in the gym when he did his leg, and I know that he knows firsthand exactly what it's going to be like, exactly what it's going to take to be back and get back to 100%. And so we've talked back and forth, and I'm sure he's somebody that I can lean on. Because the mental side is what he says the toughest part, because you can't get out there and play. It doesn't go as fast as you want it to go, and so that's something that is going to be a challenge.
And a lot of that stuff you probably already knew, but to hear a player who's gone through that to kind of give you tips on how to navigate that whole process, how helpful do you think that's going to be in your road to recovery?
Oh, I think it's extremely helpful. I think that, especially when you go through something, to talk to somebody else who's been through the same thing, and also somebody else who's come out of it successful. Paul is still having a tremendous career, and came back better than ever. So to have somebody that is willing to talk to you about it and willing to take his time to help me out is big for me.
Gordon, in the blog you wrote, you mentioned how Brad was kind of adamant to carry you up the stairs there on the plane. Just in general, tell me about that, and then what's it been like, just Brad's support throughout this whole process?
Yeah. There was probably like 20 people there, but Brad wanted to make sure he was one of the ones that helped carry me up the stairs. That's just the type of person that he is. If you guys have been around him enough to know, and went out to eat with him this morning. He's one of the big reasons why I came here, and I've said that, and he's as good as a basketball coach as he is. He's a great human being and a great person, and he wants to include me still, and wants to make sure that I'm still part of this team and I'm still helping the team, and so he's going to have different things for me to do and different ways that I can help.
Have you talked about different ways you'll talk about maybe film study?
Yeah, for one, helping out some of the younger guys, maybe with some scouting report things, different. I've played long enough to know some guys' tendencies, and we have some young wings on the team, so that's something that I can help them with, and just I guess different breakdowns like that is one area.
Two questions. You're just talking about the team. Can you speak about your observations on how they've done so far this year, and then also big picture for yourself? Are you able to step back at all to see how this could work for you in terms of your entire career?
Yeah, I think watching the team, I think we're playing really good defensively right now, and I think we should play really, really good defensively. We have the length. We have smart basketball players. We're able to disrupt teams with our switching and just with some of our athleticism and things that we can do. I think we're competing and we're playing extremely hard. I think that's the first step. There's definitely things that we for sure need to improve on, and tomorrow's game is going to be a big test for us. But there's definitely a lot of things that you like when you watch, and a lot of things that are make you smile just with the talent that we have on the team. And it's the future is definitely bright for our team here. As far as me individually and my career, I think try to turn this negative into a positive. I think there's things that I, as a player, needed to get better at, and now I'm going to have all the time in the world to work on it. And part of that's a mental game. part of that is film study. Part of that is working on left-hand finishes when I'm below the rim. There's all kinds of things that I can try to do to help myself as a player. And, like I said, I'm going to have the time to do it.
Gordon, was there, you wrote a lot about what happened yesterday. Was there anything therapeutic about just kind of sitting down and writing as much as you did about the incident?
Yeah, I think it was very therapeutic, and I've written several blogs, and this one was by far like the longest one, is like the time that it took for me to do it and the time that it took for me to put into words exactly what I wanted to say and how I was feeling and describing the moment that it happened. I think that was good to kind of talk it out, and I hadn't really talked about it until then, and so I guess sitting down and putting out my thoughts was really helpful for me. And now that it's out there, I can kind of like move forward and continue with the rehab and the recovery.
And you're sitting here, you're very optimistic about what's ahead for you. Was there a point in the last couple of weeks that you did turn the corner from just feeling bad about and hurt about what happened to looking ahead?
Oh, I mean, daily I still have negative thoughts. I mean, it's hard not to, especially when you watch the games. It's something that I'm trying to work on. Like, I think I wouldn't be human if I didn't have those thoughts. But I think there are just definite positive things that I can take from this, and there's definitely no reason to continue to sulk and wallow in some self-pity, because it happened. You can't take it back. As much as I want to rewind it and go out the other way on the pin down, but it's something that I'm going to have to deal with, so might as well deal with it now.
Are you holding out any hope for a return this season?
I'm putting zero expectations on myself as far as the timetable. For me, it's I want to get better today. Right after this, I'm going to do some rehab and do some chair shooting, and that's what I'm focused on. So,
Gordon, obviously rehabbing and doing all that is a priority. You mentioned blogging. Is there anything else you're doing to pass the time, any hobbies or binge watching, anything like that?
Well, if you know anything about me, I'm a big video game guy, so I've got more than enough time to do that as well. I get a chance to spend way more time with my girls, so I'm definitely doing that. Maybe I'm in the way a little bit too much with my wife. She has to take care of 3 kids now instead of just 2. But the days, I think the days are going to go by a lot faster now, because I'm able to come into the gym. I'm able to, be around the team a little bit more. I'm not just kind of bedridden and elevating my foot and just sitting. So it'll go by a lot faster.
Couple more questions, please, Phil. Gordon.
Yeah.
What was the conversation with the doctor when he told you that you'd make a complete recovery? I mean, obviously it's a scary-looking injury, and I'm sure you felt like this could be it.
Yeah.
How encouraged and heartened were you when you got the news that, hey, it looks bad, but you're going to be back?
Yeah, I'm a pretty skeptical person, and so I question a lot. And so I grilled him, and I wanted to make sure what he was telling me wasn't just him feeding me lines to try to keep my spirits up. And the doctors were unbelievable. All of the doctors at New England Baptist and Dr. Porter in Indianapolis, and showing me how I was going to recover, showing me why I was going to recover, telling me about different athletes that have done the exact same thing and showing me where they're at now. So it was not just telling me, but kind of showing me the reasoning behind it. And so that definitely lifted my spirits. And, they said if you're going to have a horrific injury, this was the one to have. So I'll take that, I guess.
Gordon, I know you talked about once before that your parents were also in the stands to see the whole thing. Can you contrast the perspective of that to your girls just putting stickers on your cast as if nothing was wrong and then daddy's home?
Right. My 2 little ones don't really know what's going on. They know that I'm home a little bit more. They know daddy has a boo-boo. It does kind of put things in perspective, because for them it's not that big of a deal. It's just I have a scooter at home. That's another toy for them to play with, and Another thing that they can get hurt on more than anything. But I think they're good for the recovery process because it allows me to have a support system and something to smile about. They for sure provide some comic relief, and it'll help me get through the days.
Gordon, touching on an earlier point, as far as the youngsters goes, they've really had to pick up the game in your absence. Have you been able to speak with them, encourage them, and also can fans expect to see you on the bench at all during the season as far as supporting the team goes?
Yeah, like I said, I got a chance to talk to them yesterday for a little bit. I definitely made sure to praise them, but at the same time, I got after them for some of the things that I saw that they needed to do better. They're playing well right now, and they're asked to do a lot at 20 and 21, and however young they are. I mean, they have a lot of responsibility, but I think this is going to be great for their careers. There's nothing better in the NBA than experience and meaningful experiences, which I think is something that this team, we're young, but at the same time, we're ready to win. And so, they're going to be in some situations, tomorrow they'll be in situations that are going to help them in the future and help us ultimately. As far as being on the bench, I'm basically doing whatever I'm allowed to do. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that. I think it'll probably take a little bit of time, but for sure hoping.
Gordon, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, guys.